Hello, everyone. Sorry for a lack of video recently. We have just been very busy.
You just stop caring about Doctor Who.
Yeah, just now, as soon as everything's picking up, we're like,
Yeah.
this is it. We're calling
Welcome to shouting into the
Torchwood.
Star Wars.
Yeah. Oh, God, that would be even worse. Imagine the fan base for that one.
Oh, God.
Horrific. No, we are back, and we've got plenty of news to digest. We're recording this on the 1st of November, which is the first day of Whovember. And what better way to celebrate the start of Whovember with the launch of the Whoniverse.
Yay!
Yay!
It's here, everyone.
So yeah, this was yesterday, the 31st of October. The scariest thing ever was announced. They were canonising the term Whoniverse.
Yes, it is pretty scary.
They have a nice
Don't
little...
give fans that power.
No,
Just don't do
really don't. They have a nice little opening little credit thing, MCU style, which everyone has to have these days.
Yeah.
Star Wars has one,
Sony
PlayStation has one,
yeah.
DC have their own one.
Yeah.
If you're a big franchise, you have to have one, which is fair enough. Consistent branding across all of this stuff is fair. I just hope they stick with it and they don't change it in 3 years' time, so that everything else, because since
Depends
2000,
it gets cancelled in Doctor Who in the next 3 years.
Yeah, since 2005, we've had the orange logo, the Matt Smith bluey logo. That kind of stayed for Peter Capaldi.
Yeah, they just got rid of the DW in the middle. Really.
Yeah, and then we had the golden Doctor Who for Jodie.
Yeah.
And now we've got the new blue sort of diamond one,
Yes.
which is great. I like that one.
Which is John Purvis. So.
Yeah, and I mean I think it incorporates everything fine. They just need to keep it, because I'm fed up of having loads of Target novels on my shelves that have different logos, and the same with the collection box set as well. Although I think they kind of said that they're
keeping.
exempt.
Russell said they're keeping Jodie's font for those.
Yeah, which is fair enough. But yes, what do you think about the official sort of launch of the Whoniverse, the coining the phrase or canonising the phrase Whoniverse? Is that fair enough? Is it just a sort of a formality at this point?
I think it is. Yeah, it's what you have to do, I guess. If you're going to try and do this kind of thing, you need a general term for all of it, and then break it down into specifics. So it makes sense, and if you're going to go with something like that, I guess Whoniverse would be the word to use, even if it fills me with dread and rage. But yeah, it makes sense, and Russell did talk a few years ago, probably when he knew he was coming back. He gave that interview talking about there should be like
21-ish,
an MCU-ish version of Doctor Who, and there should be spin-offs and return of Dawn.
He knew what he was doing.
He knew what he was doing. He saw the vision, and we are seeing it play out now.
Yeah.
Just as I get bored of that kind of thing, which is great timing.
Yeah.
But they only had the chance to do it now, so of course they're going to give it a go and see what happens. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see Doctor Who's place in things going forward. It's always been very much the British thing and like a British staple. So now that it's expanded and going into other things, we'll see how it kind of changes and evolves from here. But it's a very bold start. You've got to give them kudos for that. And I am intrigued to see where it's going to go with like the flashes of the characters they showed. I thought was quite telling on there. There's even there's a little Gwen Cooper in the corner.
Yeah, and if you go
Ruby was in it.
If you
see a little clip of Ruby Sunday, for God's sake.
On the iPlayer bit, it's now got, I think it's, who is it? Sarah Jane, Martha, and Gwen. I think is on like the main iPlayer logo, and it's like, where's Martha there?
Well, we know why Martha's there. That's for real. But yeah, I think that should be exciting to see. Are those very specific choices? They're just trying to get the whole range on there. Why does 15 look so sad?
Why is the Bane on the thing from Invasion of the Bane? They don't need to be there. Get rid of them.
Is Mrs. Wormwood finally coming back to live action? She's just come back to Big
She
Finish.
has just come back to Big Finish. Clyde's just come back in. We'll talk about that.
Luke's just come back to Big Finish.
He has,
so we'll see. So it's a bold, interesting start that I will be watching with a bit of interest. Maybe not as much as I would have done a couple of years ago, but this is Doctor Who's first chance to do it. So let's see how it goes.
And I think as with all of these, they need to make sure they have the right shows launched. They need to make sure they do the right things.
Yes,
we've obviously seen with the MCU that their shows were an absolute shambles.
I've stopped watching.
Judging by how the stuff you're hearing now about how the showrunners, how the shows were just created and run. it sounds like it was an absolute mess. So hopefully they're not taking any tips from Marvel on TV shows at least.
Yeah. And don't release them as quickly as Marvel would.
Yes, exactly.
Like when we had Doctor Who tortured Sarah Jane, we had like the family show, the adult show, and the kids show. That was perfect for me. Yeah. I wouldn't want any more shows than that running at any one time. Because I would just get bored.
I think they've previously talked about they want at least like one show in production as the other one's airing, which I think is fair. So if you have like one now, you can be filming for the unit spin-off if that's what they're going to do. You can be filming for the Sarah Jane Adventures,
and they're going to have the time to do that since they're filming shooty stuff so far ahead.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Russell, into some quotes in SFX which came out today, I think he was mentioning that they do want to do more spin-offs, so that people still get their fix of Doctor Who when there's no Doctor Who. But they're out of studio space at the minute, so they've got like nowhere to film it, which again might be because they're filming shooty stuff so far in advance, because they've already started filming this week the Christmas special for next year, by the looks of it. So it's good that they're so far in advance and actually planning ahead, rather than when Russell's first go around was everything hand to mouth, barely getting a show together before the Saturday.
Choice but to write the scripts quite early.
So yeah, it's interesting. I think they've got to pick the right shows, and none of the shows have to overshadow the main show. I think that's the other thing.
Yes.
They're fine if they want to do like a one hit spin-off, a one hit special, similar to like that Werewolf by Night on
which was
the
really
MCU, which was good. I don't mind doing that if they want to do a quick, a 60-minute spin with I don't know, 9 and Rose, if they ever want to, if they want to do a quick, here's a special thing that comes out like once every 2 or 3 years, so it doesn't get over saturated. Because if we're being honest, there's only so much they can do with previous Doctors, especially before New Who. And we'll come on to something they're doing with previous Doctors before New Who in a minute, and how that might play into things. But yeah, there's a limit to what they can do, and they kind of have to prioritise who is available, and what they've got next. But yeah, also launching with the Whoniverse, which came out today, as is heavily publicised. Loads of new content, new/old content available on BBC iPlayer. That's I think it was like 690 episodes of Classic Who. I think it was. Because obviously
Matt Smith's last one is the 800th episode, so 690 feels about right.
Yeah, I think there's obviously there's some episodes missing naturally, like the very first episode, which is a whole other thing, which we've spoken about before. But they've also got all the animations on there as well, which I think were only ever previously available.
That's the most exciting
Blu-ray.
thing to me.
Yeah, because you can finally see those episodes that were effectively locked behind a paywall. Both if they were in Steelbook DVD and when they were on BritBox ITV. I don't know if the animations were on there. Yeah,
because that was the only way they were getting funded, is obviously people buying them. And since they've stopped making them, they can spend more now.
Well, exactly. And so they're very exciting. They've also got all the episodes of Doctor Who Confidential, all the full episodes of Doctor Who Confidential, which I'm very pleased about. I think there's 6 series worth.
6, yeah.
And then they stopped making it. Or at least they stopped making that version of Confidential. They did other behind the scenes stuff, but not as big. That's good. They've got K9 and Company on there.
They do.
The very one episode.
The complete series of K9 and Company on there.
Yeah.
All one episode.
They've got Dreamland, and is it the Infinite Quest?
I think.
The 2 animated ones from David Tennant's run.
Yeah.
They were both David Tennant, weren't they?
Yeah. Of course they were.
Oh yeah, of course. Silly me.
And so there's technically some totally Doctor Who on there, because Infinite Quest did debut in
That's true. Maybe that's
totally
Doctor Who. And obviously you've got Sarah Jane Adventures, Class, and Torchwood, but they were already on there in the first place. The TV movie's on there, which is great. That means a rights issue of some kind has been solved, which is good fun. And I think there'll be more coming. Russell's already teased that there's more coming other than the specials this month, so it'll be interesting to see what does come. And what was included in this in terms of new content is Tales from the TARDIS.
Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah, I think it's either from or of. I can't remember. And it's interesting. I can't exactly remember who was in the episodes. There's only 6 of them come out, and they're all like 90 plus minutes long, so we've not watched any yet.
Yeah. I thought when it was like they combine into a feature-length adventure, like the 6 episodes, like, okay, so all like 10-15 minutes. It'll be like, because feature-length is over an hour. So like, it'll be about that.
Yeah.
But no.
No, so I think
all
So long.
So long.
I think what they've done is because they're all 6 stories based off of 6 classic Who episodes, where past companions and doctors maybe come back into this weird TARDIS thing somehow. Again, we've not watched, so we don't know how they exactly canonize this away, because this is canon. They have confirmed that this show is canon, and it's not like a thing where it's just
It's
a
all
separate
canon in
behind
the
a thing.
Whoniverse
Yeah,
now.
so it'll be interesting to see how this features in and how that affects the show going forwards, if they can just pull
I
these
suppose none of
people
the
out.
characters in it died. So
No, not
oh
yet.
well. Oh no, they retcon Perry. It's fine.
There we go, easy. So we'll when we watch, we'll find out. But they've got a various mix. Some of the episodes included is obviously Earthshock, 3 Doctors. I think it was Curse of Fenric.
Yeah.
Is it the I can't. Was it Time Meddler?
Time Meddler, I think. Yes.
I think, and then some other ones that I can't remember. They got a few back. I think the main Doctors coming back are 5, 6, and 7. And then they've got companions from the other ones, including the return of Clyde Langer.
Yes.
With Joe, who they met in the Sarah Jane Adventure episode where Matt Smith died, and the Sarah from Primeval was evil.
Oh yeah, she is in it. And David Bradley voices the Vulture
He
people.
does, yes. There you go. Look, he's in bloody everything.
He's in everything.
2 roles in Sarah Jane Adventures as well.
Good God.
Yeah, so that's there. I think this is a good array of stuff, and I think it's nice that we've had some new content on the very first day of November.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea.
Especially because we're not getting new content until the end of the month.
Yeah,
with the episodes,
with one special.
Yeah. So are you pleased with this? Is there anything missing that you might want to see?
It depends. I guess if they do more of it, I guess if it's successful. I'm a bit like, now that I've seen each episode's that long.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I have the time to watch these before the specials anyway.
Yeah, I can only assume that what they've done, and again I haven't watched it, is they've got the episode, cut that down into a feature length, and then film new stuff, and they're going to splice it in between. Because I think the whole point is that they're reminiscing and offering new perspectives on the story. Like an
omnibus kind of thing with new material.
To be fair, is good, because we did that with, I think it was Battlefield.
Yeah,
we did. There was
a lot of classic Who stories just benefit from being cut down.
Yeah, we watched the cut down version of Battlefield, and it was like 90 minutes. I think that one was, and that one flew by. It was great.
That was a lot better.
So we'll see what these are. I think if they do more of these, then they'll probably work well. It's a nice way to introduce people,
and it is a good blend of characters and pairings. So I am excited to check them out. You wait so long for 5 and Tegan and 7 and Ace to reunite, and then it just
twice
2 years in a row now. So yeah, obviously I haven't seen any of them. I don't know if they're any good. I don't know if what they do with them is interesting or unique with this like weird TARDIS thing that they're in, and what that means, especially if it's canonical. What that means, we'll see what happens.
I hope there's some context where they explain it in the first episode. It's not just let's sit down and
they simply will never explain it. So yeah, that it is fun, and getting like a spin-off character like Clyde in it is fun.
Yeah.
We kind of grew up with the Sarah Jane Adventures, so it is exciting to see Clyde back in live action. As soon as that guy left Casualty, I was like, well, Clyde's coming back. So yeah, that's cool. And they have like William Hartnell's surviving companions, which is kind of nuts. Nice. That Peter Purvis and the other lady whose name I don't know in real life.
Deborah, sexist,
Deborah, something like that. But yeah, Stephen and Vicky. So that's fun. Again, characters I know nothing about and haven't really seen much of, but that would be cool to get them in it. And Colin Baker's always very wholesome in regards to coming back and doing Doctor Who stuff, and Sylvester's just nuts in the best way. So seeing all those pairings will be fun. I will check them out. Will I check them out in order? I don't know. I guess you probably just
because they're not linked, are they? It's not like I don't know. I don't know if whether you watch the first one they explain the premise, or if they do
I'll
that
definitely watch the first one first.
Because I mean, the first one's not. They're not in chronological order because the first one's Earthshock, which obviously is not a first Doctor story.
So maybe it is. Maybe you do need to watch it in order.
So yeah,
which again maybe would mean I'll do that when I feel like it.
I mean,
which could be years from now.
I'm going to jump straight into the Clyde Langer one for me because that's the one I'm most interested in because he's someone that's not been in a canonical TV show for the show in 13 years?
Yeah.
Something like that, 12 years. So that's just something I'm very interested in. I'm really hoping that this and the return of Rani and Redacted is a really, that means they're going to lean towards a new Sarah Jane Adventures sort of
feels like
spin-off of the spin-off.
Something, yeah.
Because especially if they want to play into the nostalgia of people growing up that age, this is the perfect show to do it with, because you can grow that show up with those characters and with the audience and put it out. It's kind of similar to is it Stranger Things? Where you grow old with the characters and it gets a bit more darker as they're getting older.
Yeah,
you could do that with this because
the Harry Potter films.
Well, yeah, pretty much like the Harry Potter films, because that grew with the audience. As the audience got older, the characters got older, and the sort of motifs got a bit darker. So, I'd like to see a spin-off with those characters.
That'd be fun.
Don't make it as dark as like Torchwood, because sort of as we said off camera, I don't really want to see them swearing and sexing all over the place. I think that would be a big tonal shift.
Yeah.
And
Luke's married now. Right?
Well, yeah. So if they wanted, they could. But I think in more like the tone of class, I think would be the perfect one for this, a PG-13 type thing rather than a 15.
I don't think they'd take those characters and make them dark and gritty.
No, it would be
one would hope.
Yeah,
unless Sarah Jane's death really did change them all.
Really changed them.
And now they're just full on tortured. Sex gassing adventures.
Because I think that's why they never sort of put the Doctor in Torchwood, because he can never.
And
why it always felt odd when the Torchwood cast were in the Doctor Who episodes.
Yeah, it just couldn't. It never quite gelled.
Didn't quite work. But
didn't quite.
That's fine, because you can still take one or two characters, and it's sort of, especially because that one had the Jack link, so you already came from that show into that one. But when you put Gwen and Yanto in there, you're like,
this doesn't quite feel like them.
Yeah, so
Gwen's not cheating on Reese.
Yeah, and she's not swearing every 5 minutes. But we'll see. One thing that's not there, which I was promised yesterday, and he hasn't delivered.
What happened in the past 24
totally
hours?
Doctor Who. Where is it? Where is my terrible, terrible chat show? I want it. Russell mentioned it in his Instagram post. He said, yes, even Totally Doctor Who. It's not there. He's posted today. He hasn't included Totally Doctor Who in that post. Where is it, Russell? Where's my Totally Doctor Who? I want it.
It's totally gone.
It's totally gone. I mean, they've got the... This is what makes me think it's coming. It's a real, like a clown in putting the things on the board with the red lines. They've got the episode pages on the CBBC website, and they're missing the first episode of series 1, which is the one with Noel Clarke, which makes me think that they've already gone through and sort of have prepared them to be uploaded. But I don't know where they are. But at least if Russell's mentioned it, that makes me think that he's aware of it. He knows that people kind of want to see it. So I'm hopeful that it'll come up. It'll be a nice surprise if it happens this month. They're all on YouTube, so if I'm that desperate, I can watch it. But I want the crisp standard definition quality of the BBC iPlayer. That's all I want. So we'll see if that turns up. We haven't got Doctor Who, the fan show. That's not on there. Absolutely gutted about that one.
That's still on YouTube.
That's also still on YouTube, yeah. So there's loads of different stuff they could still put on from over the years where they've had different bits. They've had the Doctor Who Revisited documentaries that they put out for the 50th, which I think could come on there. Yeah. We had a look at an adventure in space and time. Isn't on there either. The sort of docudrama of the first Doctor's era is not on there. So hopefully these things will come on eventually.
There's plenty there for now.
Yeah.
To whet your appetite. Apologies to international people.
Well, this is what I was going to say. The only other thing that people have sort of annoyed about is that none of this content is available. Wow. Due to the partnership with the Disney Plus, everyone's assumed that everything that happens now will also be on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Not the case. I think if you want to see series 1 to 13 Flux, you have to subscribe to HBO Max, I think it is.
Right.
And I think BritBox is still a thing abroad.
It is,
and I think that's where you can watch Classic Who. So, annoyingly, with international rights, they're still not everywhere, but I imagine that might be something that when those contracts come up to end or renewal, they'll eventually sort of weed them out, because they're always up for renewal every 5-10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's only a matter of time. If not, there are certain places you can go to watch them for free. It's okay.
That's true.
Or just come over here for a holiday.
Physical media.
Yeah. Come over here for a holiday. Pretend you've got a TV license. Go on BBC iPlayer. Done. Probably cheaper than an HBO Max subscription, if we're honest.
Before the lawyers come in, I do not share these views, and I do not recommend that you do this.
Just know somebody in the UK and go and look at their BBC iPlayer.
Yeah,
because they should be paying for their TV license.
Yes,
hopefully. But yes, that's all the new stuff that's come out onto BBC iPlayer for the Whoniverse. The other thing that came out today was some interviews in SFX magazine about the 60th specials and series 14, or should I say Series
Playing
1.
themes. What?
So I think Russell has confirmed today that as part of the agreement with Disney, I think they kind of agreed that they would revert from Shooty's era, everything sort of back to the Series 1 titles, or calling it Series 1. So as far as I'm aware, that's what it will be called on Disney Plus. For all we know, in BBC iPlayer, they might keep it as
They might
Series
keep
14.
it Series 14 in the UK, which I'm hoping.
Yeah, so you never know, but I know you've got strong opinions of the change of the name, so go for it. Why don't you like Series 1?
Well, because
What's wrong with Rose?
we've had it already. What's wrong with very well? We'll be able to.
Yeah.
It's just it feels very counterintuitive. It feels like it just asks way more questions than it resolves anything. You know, Series 1. Oh, which Series 1? You know, Russ T Davies Series 1. Which Russ T Davies Series 1? And then if you're going to do that, if they did bring a show like Tortured back, is that going to be Tortured Series 1? They're going to start again with that? It's just so many things, and it's like, well, it's fine. We're continuing with the timeless child thing. I'm not ignoring that. Also, it's Series 1.
Yeah.
It just feels a bit like a spit in the face, especially when it hasn't come back off like a big hiatus or anything.
Well, it's the longest we've been since any New Who episodes.
Yes, a whole year.
Yeah, so long.
Which is sad, but I don't think that justifies starting the numbering again. And you know, you want to buy your kid Doctor Who Series 1 on Amazon, good fucking luck getting the right one now.
Sorry, Grandma.
You're going to buy the wrong DVD, Grandma.
Give him an unearthly child for your child.
Yes. So I just think it's unnecessary, and it's like, enjoy it. Here's the 60th anniversary, but disregard that, because now it's starting. Now it's Series 1.
Yeah.
Immediately ignore that. So it's just so bizarre. If you want like a jumping on point, I get it. But people are aware that Doctor Who's a long-running history. You know, people start watching soaps at any old random time. You just get caught up with things.
I've specifically not watched EastEnders because I'm scared of how many episodes I've watched.
Yeah, it's not a bizarre concept to kind of get your head around. And yeah, I really get it from like the marketing point of view, and if it is like a Disney thing, but to like celebrate the show's history by restarting it, it's weird. You know, if you want a jumping on point for fans, you want to make it feel fresh. Make it feel fresh, not tell us that it's fresh because it's Series 1 now.
Maybe the way they could have got around this is they could have done a flux and just named it a different thing each time.
That's what I would have suggested.
But then I guess maybe the long-term thinking there is, we'll run out of names.
Yeah.
You know? How are they going to do that?
Be more creative.
Yeah.
Get new writers in. But yeah, it just... people would be angrier if it wasn't Russ T Davies doing this. That's the God's honest truth.
Oh, yeah.
And
if this happened last year, 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. It would have been just an outcry.
Even 10 years ago.
Yeah.
If Series 5, Moffat turned around and said this is Series 1.
Yeah.
They were
like, for their production, it was Series 1 because it's a whole new production crew.
Yeah.
But they still called it Series 5.
Yeah.
So it does feel a bit of a spit in the face to the last few years, especially with the whole turmoil around, like the Chibnall era and all the unnecessary hate that got. For them to be like, well, we're not ignoring that, but also we are, because it just like say what you want to say. It feels like you're kind of half-arsing that excuse, really, aren't you? And there's already been like a Series 1 already. It's, like with Classic Who's Season 1, so when they came back with Series 1, fine. But so if you call it series or season, it's like, well, which one are you comparing it to now? I think it's just very messy and needless. We've already had jumping on points already, and you don't need to rename it and restart the numbering for it. It just feels like a very odd time to do it in particular.
They could have waited and announced this at Christmas. I didn't really announce it. Russell said it in an interview, but he could have just not said it. Yeah. And then they could have said this in January.
It just feels like the 60th. It's not really going to matter though, is it? Because we're starting again with the numbering now. Don't start with the 60th. Start with this.
Yeah.
And where do you want us to actually begin here? Yeah. And certain shots in the trailers, it would seem Mel is in the 60th. Yeah. So they're reintroducing her, but it's Series 1.
And she's going to be in the new series.
And she's in Series 1.
Yeah.
But she's also in season 24.
I think.
So it's like, why bother rewriting if you're not ignoring some of the history? It feels like you're just picking and choosing, like making a new history for yourself, like just deciding.
Yeah. Although Russell's unwriting himself in some respects.
Yes, but he's also just now the showrunner, and we've seen what the 60th is set up to be with the Doctor and Donna. He's not, and there's going to be plenty of people coming back.
Yeah.
And they're all from that time of the show so far.
Except Mel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So it does feel a bit. It's an odd choice and very odd timing to do it, and I just can't help but feel like it's a bit disrespectful to 60 years of Doctor Who and the hard work of the new series, which obviously Russell himself started.
Yeah.
But now he's even being like,
whoopsie.
Oh, I started it once. I can do it all over again now. I'm going to get it right all over again. Yeah. It feels a bit heavier than mouth to me. Is how it comes across. A bit like, all right, pipe down. Yeah. Like, let's see if it's good first.
Yeah.
So I totally get why they're doing it, particularly for like international like Disney Plus thing.
Yeah,
it would be weird to start with Series 14.
Yeah.
But also it's not that weird.
If it ends up just being Series 1 on Disney Plus, I'm fine with that.
If that's all it is, no qualms.
So I don't know I don't know if SFX is a specifically British magazine or if it's an international one.
Yeah.
Because if it's international, then maybe they're trying to target for that audience.
Yeah, it could be a complete miss.
I'll have to read it. Well, that's the other thing.
He might just say like, because for our first series we're doing this, and then they've spun it like Series 1.
Yeah.
But obviously this has been a rumor for a very long time.
Yeah.
And all these rumors about this era so far have turned out to be true. So guess we'll see. Yeah. But if it's just a Disney Plus, they're calling it Series 1. Fine. Yeah. It doesn't bother me.
I think.
But I in its 60th year, like a British staple, like let's just restart it, even though there hasn't actually been a reason to restart it. It's a bit weird.
Unless whatever happens in the 60th is going to cause something.
Unless Russell's changed his writing style and doesn't put it all back in the box.
Yeah, it could be.
But then
you never know.
It's still whatever happens in the 60th. This is Series 1 now, so that doesn't matter.
Ignore everything that came beforehand. Similar to Moffat rebooting the universe in Series 5.
Yeah, but that was in Series 5, and then it continued on.
Yeah, and it didn't go for Series 6, wasn't it, in Series 1.
And they mentioned like the Cyber King is like why that would be like destroyed by the cracks in time. So I think continues on.
For me, I'm not as precious about the numbering, because at the same, for me, I always end up going, oh yeah. Whenever I say it to the normal person, not us, the normal people. If I say
mentally well,
I say like, oh, Series 3, a lot of people will go, oh, which one's that? And I'll go, oh, the one with Martha, or the one with David Tennant's second. That tends to be how I have to explain them. And in fairness to me, I forget as soon as we get past Series 7. I'm like, oh, which series is that? I get Capaldi's ones all jumbled up. I forget that Jodie started with 11 and not 10, and it just my head's gone after Matt Smith's. I forget them. So part of me is like, oh, thank God I don't have to worry about remembering which number was which anymore. I can just say, oh yeah, Peter Capaldi's second series. Oh, that's fine. But that's more of me being lazy and me trying to explain it to
Google
people that don't. Yeah, it's because a lot of people I speak to about Doctor Who don't tend to care as much as we do.
Yeah.
So it'd be easier for me to explain it where I can now be like, oh yeah, Shooty's first season or Capaldi's second season, something like that. Because I've always tend to.
You can just say that anyway.
Yeah, and that's how normally I say it. If I'm ever explaining an episode to someone, or someone's like, "Oh, what episode's that in?" I tend to explain the context rather than the numbering.
Yeah. Shooty's first season. Oh, so Series 1. Which Series 1?
Oh yeah,
Rusty Davies Series 1.
Yeah.
Which Rusty Davies Series 1?
I'm not too fussed because I'll always explain the episodes away. But I can definitely understand why people are miffed about it. But again, we won't know how it plays out until it airs.
Until we know.
For all we know,
until they disregard Shooty's first Christmas special.
Well, exactly. So we'll see how it goes.
It's a wait and see.
Yeah, it could be, because I know on BBC iPlayer they've now done 2005 to 2022.
Yeah.
So is that the 60th anniversary? Are they Series 1?
That also kind of leads into the whole Series 1 thing, I think.
Yeah, because Disney Plus are only marketing that as Doctor Who : The Star Beast, and not Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Whatever, which is fair enough, because similar to the 50th special and David Tennant specials, they're not really they're not in a series.
Yeah.
That's why they all get bundled into Series 4 or Series 7. So interesting. I think I'm curious to see how it pans out. I know that everyone's having a meltdown about it, but at the same time, I'm like, it's not going to stop you watching it, is it? So,
well, we'll see.
I mean, yeah, I don't know which one I'm watching. Series 1's airing, but I watched Rose 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Series 1. Oh, they're replaying that, are they? Oh, yeah. I wonder when the new series starts.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's absolutely my dad. That's absolutely
yeah,
going to be
to
my
be
dad.
fair, yeah.
My dad is not going to know when.
But then he's also the one where you went, oh yeah, you know, Shakespeare Code. And you went, no, what's that? I went, oh, series 3 with Martha. That's how you would have explained
He'd
that
still
one.
be like, what's that?
Oh, there you go.
Who's that?
Easy.
But then she's coming back this year.
That's true, yeah. So yeah, the other thing we got, obviously we had the whole series one naming thing. The other thing that happened between our videos was they've released the dates
They
of
did.
when the 60th anniversary episode is going to end.
Yeah.
End that day.
Well, yeah, that's true.
So there was all sorts of dates flying around. We pretty much put our bets on 3 weekends in November.
Because that makes sense.
It made sense. But
For Whovember?
yeah, instead they're launching at the end of the month, which this is another one where I'm not as fussed about.
I don't mind. Really.
And
I
also,
do think it's very funny that they were pushing the Whovember thing,
Yeah.
and only one special is actually airing in November.
but then I
that
that makes me think that they're going to have more coming out in November that's not just the specials,
Yeah,
which is good. I'm sort of excited to see if anything else comes out. Again, Russell's teased that more's to come, etc.
and it's even less of a wait in between that and then.
Well, that's the other thing I was thinking as well.
So.
If we're getting a Christmas special and the last one airs on, let me check the little calendar.
Even if it's a New Year's special, it's only another week. So
yeah, so it's the 9th.
That long.
It's the 9th of December is when they end. So the 25th, the 2nd, and the 9th. That's a Saturday again. Yeah, and if it's a festive special, Christmas Day or New Year's Day, that's 3 weeks max.
Yeah. It was like between the 50th and Time of the Doctor.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. No time at all.
No time.
I'm also happy because it now means I only missed the first episode live and not the last one. So I think that's
probably going to be
that's
one
the
you want
better
to watch
trade-off
live, isn't it?
for me.
Yeah.
So that's fine. I'm happy. But yeah, I think again I'm not first. It made sense to have them in sort of there. But if they want to do a big build-up for the whole month and be like start teasing it, put loads of they've already started with teasers on BBC iPlayer. It wasn't just the one day. I was watching Match of the Day the other day, and it came on before that, and that was at 10:20 in the evening. So they're really throwing it across the BBC.
Yeah,
they've got some documentaries coming out. I think today. Is it BBC 4 ones? I think.
Right.
There's a BBC 4 one coming out today, narrated by David Tennant. I think, looking back at the past 60 years, and then they've got 2 audio ones. I think coming out maybe on the weekend. One looking back at Classic Who and one looking back at New Who. That's the one with like interviews with loads of other people. So they've clearly got a lot planned. There's other stuff coming out. There's books coming out, comics coming out. I'm just hoping that it's just not. They've really got to justify putting it at the end of the month. They've really got to have something coming out consistently every week.
Yeah.
It can't just be here's all this stuff on the 1st. Here's the episode on the 25th.
2 weeks of silence. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see how it plays out. I think it's a very bold move.
Because also, putting it that later on means the conversation about it's going to be very limited before Shooty's first one. Then that's what people are going to be talking
And
about.
then I also wonder if they've done that specifically so they can keep the hype of whatever's the end on to make sure people are aware. Look, just come back in 3 weeks. You're going to get more. Yeah. And then even at the end of that, if the rumours of a spring series launch for next year are true, come back in another couple of months and you'll get it. So
coming soon trailer at the end of Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm hopeful it plays off. I think it's fine. It doesn't bother me. I'm going to watch it either way.
It's the first air date's close enough to the 23rd, isn't it?
I think that's
it worked out so with the 50th being on a Saturday.
Yeah.
But Doctor Who used to run weekdays anyway. But I don't think it's the end of the world.
No, well, it won't be.
Well,
Series 1,
episode 2, but not Shooty Series 1.
Yeah.
Series 1, not the Rusty Davies series.
Could you imagine if they
Rusty
just
Davies, the first Rusty Davies series?
Could you just imagine if they just named the same episodes the same thing again?
That'd be very funny. I mean, they have a rose that they can use.
Yeah, they could. The first episode is called Ruby. The second episode is called
The World of the End.
The End of the Earth. The third one's called The Loud Dead. And it's just slight variations of different ones. I think that'd be very funny.
Yeah.
Extraterrestrials of London.
Yeah.
World War 4.
Daleks. Alien and Aliens.
Yeah,
Daleks.
Daleks cubed.
Yes.
But yeah, I think it's fine.
The short game.
yeah. Thank God. I wish it was a short game. God. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. They've also released a load of new books and stuff, which I'm going to crack on with soon, including some nice eras books. We've got 6 from different eras of the show, obviously. I've got 4 of them, which I'm hopefully going to crack on and read, and the 10 Doctors of Christmas I also got. Which surprise is
that famous song, The 10 Days of Christmas?
Yeah. You could have had Peter Capaldi, but what else?
Why make it make sense when you can just put David Tennant in something?
Exactly. But yeah, that's it in terms of news, unless they announce something when we finish, but we should be okay. We will hopefully be back maybe with an episode soon. We still need to
before
watch
the year is out. We've watched it. We've recorded it. It just went horribly wrong.
We still need to talk about Into the Dalek, which is coming up. But yeah, with so much coming out, you never know. We might end up coming back and doing some Tales of the TARDIS. It's going to be a busy month, isn't it? Yeah, it's absolutely rammed, which is good. I'm so happy that we're getting so much.
Yeah, we're just never going to have time to do it again.
No, this is it. Our last episode was Deep Breath. You're not getting any more. But yeah, it's going to be non-stop, I think, for at least the next 2 months.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with that. As long as it's good content, I'm happy with that.
Yes.
As long as it's not Doomsday 2. Doom 2 Day.
That was Doomsday 2. They've already started reusing the names.
The Doom the Day. Yeah,
God.
we'll see how it goes. But yes, that is it for now, and we'll see you next time. Bye.